Okay, so it seems like global players are not happy with Wuthering Waves at the moment, and well, I think they're very much justified, and I'm not too happy with this either. Now, essentially what Wuthering Waves has been doing is a ton of collaborations over in China, which have actually been really great, and you know, I feel like a lot of them look really cool. For example, this post up here on r/Wuthering Waves saying a glimpse of what we Chinese players has around us. You can really feel wuwa entering slowly but surely the market in China after 1 year. There's so many foods and goodies, we're so lucky. Naxu, drink and cake, Lawson's juice, lots of physical game stores selling goodies and big posters, wuwa cake and coffee and made jump coffee, couldn't get there yet, and the best part, it's so cheap everywhere. And they essentially show off some of the kind of collaboration items you can get over in China. Now, obviously, this was great. We saw some of the advertisement for this as well. They made a whole animation surrounding like Zani, and I think there's a Carlotta one as well. But yeah, you can see there is a ton of merch that you can get, especially if you're over in China. Now, one thing that I've said in my videos quite a bit whenever these collaborations kind of happen is I would love to see this over in the West. I'd love to see this in America. I'd love to see this in Europe. I'd love to see this over in Britain. You know, literally anywhere. I would love to see it pretty much anywhere that isn't China, Japan, Korea, or whatever, because that's where most of the collaborations happen. And, well, it seems like we still haven't gotten any news on that. And, well, I came across this one short by Darkos88, which pretty much talks about an issue that is also going on with Wuthering Waves at the moment, which I really wanted to bring to your guys' attention. So I'll let this play, and then we'll talk about it.
Between Wuwa and Lawson has caused a bit of drama in the global community because the glider skin reward is only obtainable by players in China. Basically, you need to purchase items at a Lawson store in China to receive a redeem code for the glider. However, the code is only valid on Chinese servers, so even if we manage to get the code, we still can't redeem it. This is really unfortunate, especially since the skin is clearly visible in the glider skin menu for all players but cannot be used. As a result, many players are asking to reconsider this exclusivity decision, and JP players are also speaking out, they all asking for equal access. The collaboration,
which, yeah, as you can see here, there has been a little bit of an issue among a lot of the players with the Lawson's collaboration. And obviously, they mentioned the Lawson's collaboration in this post as well. And as they said there, you can essentially get a glider skin from this collaboration, which is great because obviously it gives people the incentive to go to it. And it's worked before for games like Genshin Impact, for example. They had the whole KFC glider thing. But where it goes wrong for them here is the fact that it's region locked. So even if you were to go and get a glider in China, or you got a friend in China that can go get you one and get you the code, you cannot use it anywhere else but in China and on the China servers, which obviously is a big issue for some people, you know, seeing as people want this glider. And the fact that there isn't very many glider skins, if any at all, I'm not sure if there is any, but again, there isn't very many at all, and these people are getting them, but for some reason people over in global can't. I think that's just unfair, and it's good to see that, you know, JP players and I think Chinese players are also not very happy about this due to the fact that it's unfair on a lot of global players, especially whenever Wuthering Waves have marketed themselves as a very global game. You know, that's been their thing from the very start. They wanted to be like Genshin Impact, where they have this success globally, and they have gotten a lot of success globally. Sometimes they even make, well, like according to the revenue chart, which obviously isn't exactly accurate, sometimes global even makes more than China on that. Now, obviously, you know, as I said, it's all up to speculation, that kind of stuff, but it does prove that global is still a massive market for Wuthering Waves, regardless of whether it's more than China or not, meaning that there is a lot of players that are not happy with the fact that this glider is not available for other people. Now, obviously, there is no such thing as Lawson's and stuff over in, like, Britain, at least. I don't know about America, I doubt there is, but Lawson's is mainly like an Asia type thing, which, again, I feel like might be part of the issue, seeing as this is a collaboration with Lawson's, but it would be nice if they could partner up with maybe some other shops or something where they could do a similar collaboration that could get like a similar kind of award, because I do see the kind of issue with them not being able to, because it is a Lawson's collaboration rather than, you know, just a normal collaboration. But again, I do think that a lot of people are not happy, like, due to the fact of this happening. People are saying showing the glider for all servers is diabolical, saying the fact that this item can also be seen by all servers, but only Chinese people can possess it, is quite unfair. So yeah, like, these Chinese players can go around with this glider and, like, show it off to all their friends or whatever, but, you know, obviously, the person, whoever you're playing with, you know, they can have it, but you can only just watch them have it, which, again, it just feels so wrong. You know, and people are just like seeing a lot of like different flashbacks and stuff from the whole, you know, Genshin Impact period, because again, we have had issues like this before with the KFC glider and everything like that, and it seems like people are just starting to get a little bit fed up. Now, I don't think this is the end of the world in terms of, you know, just all things Wuthering Waves and drama and stuff like that. It's really not the end of the world. I feel like, you know, Wuthering Waves has had a pretty good run whenever it comes to giving out free stuff. But, you know, it just doesn't look good. And I feel like, obviously, people have, like, really started to notice the amount that, you know, Wuthering Waves are messing up. For example, the anniversary awards, there was a big amount of backlash towards that. And obviously, people are going to start getting fed up if these kind of events only take place in China, because as I said, they've always marketed themselves as a global game, but they haven't done it yet. You know, there's been a couple of events, you know, across, you know, outside of Asia pretty much, but whenever it comes to kind of events in, you know, the US, the UK, Europe, literally anywhere else, it's been very, very minimal, and there's been tons that come out in Korea, China, and Japan. Now, you know, it's not to say that, you know, Korea, China, and Japan don't deserve any of them. Of course they do. I feel like the amount that they're bringing out, it's really good for that region, but they should also be working even harder to, you know, bring out even more collaborations in places over here as well, because, you know, you can't just say that you're going to do it and then not do it. I feel like, you know, people are not going to be happy with that at all. And, you know, it is kind of disappointing. You know, I've made a lot of videos talking about collaborations with Wuthering Waves, and it's disappointing, you know, as much as I say, oh, hey, you know, this is great. I really like the designs of this. I really like the designs of that. But then also at the same time, I'm not going to be able to actually, you know, partake in any of this unless I, you know, book a trip to China or Japan or somewhere like that where they're actually doing an event. It just would be nice because, you know, I would literally go there in a heartbeat. You know, I'd book a ticket straight away to get there if there was something going on in the UK or even nearby. Because, again, I think it would be a nice thing. But obviously, we just don't get that. And Wuthering Waves have not done that, you know, forever, really. That hasn't really been a big event worth going to. So, yeah, it's just kind of disappointing from, like, a global standpoint. And I don't know how many of you guys are global players as well and are disappointed by this too, because, again, I feel like most global players are not exactly happy with the fact that there's no events and no other stuff out there, which obviously can, you know, cause a pretty big issue. And I feel like players are finally getting to a little bit of a boiling point whenever it comes to this collaboration. And yeah, this, you know, issue with the Lawson stuff, and, you know, there might be even more issues in the future whenever it comes to that. It's only going to further the kind of, you know, hatred sentiment that is going towards Wuthering Waves, because, you know, Wuthering Waves, the game itself is great and it's been doing amazingly, but obviously people are starting to get on the hate train a little bit due to some poor decisions. And, you know, I don't want it to be like that. Obviously, you know, they shouldn't be hated for small things, but it is going to start looking like that if we don't start seeing a little bit more change. So, yeah, I'm very disappointed with this. I'm not exactly angry because obviously, you know, it's just a collaboration. Who cares? But at the same time, I would, you know, like a little bit more from Wuthering Waves. I would like to see some stuff coming out here just for the benefit of global players in general, because it's not only just like disappointing for like me and for other global players. It's just more so the fact of like, you know, they're kind of cutting off a big audience that they could have, you know, just because they can't be bothered to go and do it, which again just doesn't feel very right. But hey, you know, let me know down the comments side what you guys think about this, and, you know, if you guys want to see more events over here in Europe, in, you know, the US or wherever, because again, I really want to see more. But hey, maybe you have a different opinion. Maybe you think it's fine over in Japan or whatever. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to Game Subs, use my code KAZA, get 10% off. They got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.